I just returned from Afghanistan, and I thought you might like to hear how your donations are helping children in this very poor, war-ravaged country. Flying into Kabul was spooky. Looking down from the airplane, the terrain was bleak, barren, and lifeless. Our airplane felt more like a time machine, bringing us back to the Stone Age. What looked godforsaken from the air looked even worse from the ground. Afghanistan has been at war for 30 years, and it looks it. Crumbling cemeteries with crooked graves, bombed-out buildings, burnt-out trucks and cars, rotting garbage, a dead donkey on the side of the road, a dirty stream in the center of town where a vibrant river once ran. Kabul is a city that looks like it is on life support. The one nice thing we saw were hundreds of girls in uniforms coming home from school, laughing, smiling, wearing backpacks, little symbols of hope amidst so much desperation. The average lifespan in Afghanistan is just 43 years. That's what it was in Western Europe in the early 1800s. 1 out of every 3 Afghan children is an orphan. 1 out of every 5 children die before they reach their 5th birthday. 80% of the women and girls are illiterate, and the annual income per capita is $231. That works out to about 63 cents a day. But it gets worse, thanks to the Taliban. They're killing as often and as many as they can, foreigners and Afghans. They attacked more than 400 schools last year. They beheaded a school teacher in front of his wife and 8 children because he had the audacity to teach girls. During our trip, the Taliban sent a 6-year-old boy on a suicide mission. Luckily, soldiers saved him before he pressed the button on his bomb-laden code. I could go on and on about all the things that are wrong in this poor country, but instead I want to tell you about something that is going right. Right smack in the middle of Kabul stands an oasis of hope, our partner hospital. This small 60-bed hospital is run by a heroic staff of Afghans and expats who've come from all over the world to help the people of Afghanistan. It's a non-profit hospital for the poor that's had a very big impact in a very short time. It became a Smile Train partner and began offering free cleft surgeries about 8 months ago. Just a few free TV commercials aired over a couple of days brought hundreds of children with clefts and their parents from all over Afghanistan to this hospital begging for help. We met a young boy and his father who had traveled 800 kilometers. That's like traveling from Ohio to New York by foot. It took them 3 weeks. Every child we met told the same story. They were all extremely poor. Most had to borrow money to make the trip. Some sold off family possessions. For most of them, it was the first time they'd ever left their villages. Virtually all the parents were illiterate and uneducated, but they were smart enough to know that this might be their only chance to save their child from a lifetime of heartache and suffering. We met a remarkable young man who'd been born with a massive cleft that ran down the entire middle of his face. We wondered how he managed to survive 22 years. This picture is after he's already received 2 surgeries, and he's scheduled for several more. He kept trying to thank us by putting his hand over his heart and bowing his head. He can't speak. It was heartbreaking. We met a school teacher, a very polite, soft-spoken man who started to cry as he thanked us and told us how important it was for his son, his only son, to have a chance to go to school and to marry and to have a life. This surgery saved his son's life, he told us. We met a remarkable Afghan surgeon named Dr. Hashimi. He used to perform only a small number of cleft surgeries because so few parents could afford it. Now, with our support, he can provide free cleft surgery for thousands of children who would otherwise never receive it. He's excited about just how many children he can help, and so are we. There are many, many children who need this surgery, Dr. Hashimi told us. Many years of war have created a huge backlog. We asked how many surgeries he could do in a year. Maybe 800, maybe 1,000, he told us. I will do the very best I can, he told us. We assured him that whatever the number was, we would give him all the support he needed. We told him how the Smile Train has never turned away any child that asked for help, and that we would stick with him till we helped each and every one. This made him smile. It's very good, he laughed, nodding his head, because for every child I send home after surgery, 5 more will come when they learn about this program. We're going to be very busy for a very long time. As we drove away from the hospital, I thought of all the remarkable doctors and nurses we were leaving behind in this truly godforsaken place. I thought of what a special guy Dr. Hashimi is. He could easily be in the UK or the US with his family safe and sound, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing cosmetic surgery and playing golf every Wednesday. If you've sent us a donation lately, I thank you. I hope that this report from the field makes you glad that you did. If you haven't sent us a donation in a while, please consider it. These kids need our help, and we need yours.